All right, everybody, it's championship week in the Big 12, and with that comes our announcement of the 2019 All-Big 12 Football Awards. As you're well aware, Oklahoma and Baylor will kick off at 11 a.m. Central Time on ABC Saturday afternoon from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. We'll have our final episode of Big 12 Big Football with our full championship preview drop on Friday. Now to the awards. The head coaches vote on these awards as always, and of course they are not allowed to vote for their own players. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. In the 2019 Defensive Newcomer of the Year, Oklahoma's LaRon Stokes. An important piece to that OU D-line all season, Stokes finished the regular season with 13 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and a half sack. His season-high 3 tackles came against West Virginia, where the Sooners' run defense held WVU to just 52 yards on the ground. Stokes is part of an OU defense that finished the regular season 4th in the Big 12 in rushing defense. LaRon is the 5th Oklahoma Sooner and first since 2005 to be named the Defensive Newcomer of the Year. Staying in Norman, and by unanimous selection, Oklahoma's Jalen Hurts is the 2019 Offensive Newcomer of the Year. Hurts is the 4th Sooner to be named Offensive Newcomer of the Year and the 2nd OU quarterback, joining the 1999 winner Josh Heupel. Jalen's been sensational to watch all year long. 72% completion rate, a league-high 31 passing touchdowns, 49 total touchdowns if you include all of those rushing scores. And speaking of rushing, Hurts finished 2nd in the league in total rushing, only behind OSU's Chuba Hubbard. Jalen was also responsible for 302 of Oklahoma's points this year. That leads the entire FBS. Let's meet our 2019 Offensive Freshman of the Year, Oklahoma State's Spencer Sanders. Sanders is just the 4th Cowboy and 2nd quarterback named Offensive Freshman of the Year. Justice Hill in 2016 was the last OSU recipient of this honor. Sanders threw for more than 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns in his debut season for the Cowboys. In his first game in the Orange and Black, Sanders led the Pokes into Pac-12 territory and went 19 of 24 for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns while rushing for 109 yards in the 52-36 win over Oregon State. For the year, Sanders finished in the top half of the league in passing efficiency. The Defensive Freshman of the Year is TCU's Ardarius Washington. Washington led all Big 12 freshmen and finished 4th overall in the league with 5 interceptions this season. Washington is the 3rd player from TCU since 2012 to be named the Defensive Freshman of the Year. He snagged 2 of those 5 interceptions against West Virginia, and against Oklahoma, Washington had a career-high 14 tackles in the game. For the year, the Shreveport native has 7 pass breakups for those TCU Horned Frogs. To be the best is tough enough, but to be the best as a freshman, that takes something special. Our 2019 Special Teams Player of the Year, Kansas State's Joshua Youngblood. The kick return specialist led the FBS, averaging 38 yards per kick return and ran 3 kickoffs back for a touchdown this season. Youngblood is the first ever freshman selected as the Special Teams Player of the Year and joins 4 other Kansas State Wildcat returners to garner this honor. For the 2nd straight year, the Offensive Lineman of the Year award will be shared. One at a time, let's start with OU's Creed Humphrey. This is the 4th year in a row that an OU offensive lineman was named the Offensive Lineman of the Year. Humphrey anchored an OU offense that led the Big 12 and finished 5th in the country in points per game. The Sooners led the country in total offense as well, 564 yards per game. West Virginia's Colton McKivitz was also named Offensive Lineman of the Year. McKivitz led a Mountaineer line that ranks in the top half of the Big 12 in sacks allowed this season. The left tackle started 47 consecutive games for West Virginia. McKivitz is West Virginia's 2nd consecutive Offensive Lineman of the Year winner. And how about the defensive side of the ball? Our 2019 Defensive Lineman of the Year, Baylor's James Lynch. He's also our 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. Lynch is the 2nd Baylor defensive tackle to be named Defensive Player of the Year, and funny enough, in that year, 2015 that is, Andrew Billings also won both of these awards. Lynch finished 1st in the Big 12 with 10.5 sacks and 3rd in the league with 15.5 tackles for loss. Those 10.5 sacks put Lynch 8th in the country among Power 5 players. James led a Baylor D-line that racked up a Big 12 best 40 sacks and only gave up 18 points a game this season. His head coach Matt Rule is your 2019 Big 12 Coach of the Year. The Bears are 11-1, ranked in the top 10, and are playing for a Big 12 title this weekend after being picked to finish 6th in the preseason media poll. Baylor has the #1 defense and #2 offense in the Big 12, and though this award is based on the 2019 season alone, you can't discount what Coach Rule has done for the Baylor program as a whole in just 3 short years. And now our 2019 Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, Oklahoma State's Chuba Hubbard. I can't say anything that hasn't already been said about number 30. The Canadian Cowboy leads the country in total rushing yards per game, and total all-purpose yards, while second in the FBS in rushing touchdowns. Chuba's nation-leading 1,936 rushing yards is 175 more than Wisconsin's Jonathan Taylor, who's one spot behind Chuba. The redshirt sophomore had 10 straight games of 100 yards or more this season and is just the 5th running back to ever be named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Congratulations to our Big 12 award winners. Now let's dive into the All-Big 12 first team. First team quarterback Jalen Hurts is joined by Kansas running back and 2018 All-Big 12 first teamer Puka Williams and by unanimous selection Chuba Hubbard. Kansas State fullback Nick Lenners rounds out the backfield. Wide receivers now, Oklahoma's CeeDee Lamb was a unanimous first-team selection. He's joined by Baylor's Denzel Mims and Texas senior Devin Duvernay, with Iowa State's Charlie Kohler getting the first-team nod at tight end. The offensive line is made up of Iowa State's Julian Good-Jones, Kansas Jayhawk Hakeem Adeniji, Oklahoma's Creed Humphrey, Texas's Zach Shackelford, and West Virginia's Colton McKivitz. The first-team specialist, TCU senior Jonathan Song, and Kansas State's Joshua Youngblood. On defense, the D-line is made up of unanimous selection James Lynch and his line mate Bravion Roy, Kansas State's Wyatt Hubert, TCU's Ross Blacklock, and rounding out the D-line, West Virginia's Darius Stills. The linebackers, Oklahoma's Kenneth Murray, TCU's Garrett Wallow, and Texas Tech's Jordan Brooks. The DBs, 2018 first-team selection Greg Eisworth. He's joined by Oklahoma State's Colby Harville-Peel, TCU teammates Jeff Gladney and Trayvon Merrick, and Texas Tech's Douglas Coleman, rounding out the first team, Texas Tech punter Austin McNamara. Congratulations to our All-Big 12 first team selections. To see who made the second team and who got the nod at honorable mention, just head over to Big12sports.com. I'm Aaron Pryor. Thanks for watching, everybody.